My clock says the
This
time is
conference will now
9:34.
be recorded.
Second item on the agenda is opportunity for public comment. Do we have anyone here that would like to make public comment? Do not see anyone that's charging the microphone.
Do we have anybody online that wishes to make a public comment?
It does not seem like.
Okay, and are we recording right now?
Yep.
Excellent. Takes us to item number 3. It is an action item regarding approval of minutes from the March 24th, 2026 meeting. Any questions, comments? I'll entertain a motion.
I'll do a motion, but I want to piggyback on what Mayor Drupal said last meeting. I got sworn in on February 21st.
Oh, you're important now.
No. With no vote. That's the only correction.
We'll update that. He is now mayor, not Mayor Pro Tem Councilman anymore. Congratulations. It's fun, right? You having a good time?
Yeah.
Sure you are.
Other than that, move to approve with necessary correction.
Okay, so we have a correction. I need a motion to approve with correction.
Make a motion, second with corrections.
I've got a motion from Dale. Do I have a second?
A second.
Second from Real. Thank you, gentlemen. Motion is second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item number 4, discussion action item regarding approval of resolution 2026-05, recognizing May as National Bike Month. Anita, you have a presentation for us?
Yes, thank you so much, Commissioner. Yes, May is National Bike Month, and it was established in 1965. Inside of your packet is a resolution that is going to be promoting 2 events inside of our region. The events that we really want to highlight and are seeking support from our committee is the Adaptive Bike Rodeo that will be held in Ogilvie Gap in Coppers Cove from 10 to 2 p.m. And then also we have the Rite of Silence in Nolanville on May 20th from 6:30 to 8:30. Those 2 events are particularly very important to us, given, especially the Rite of Silence, given the recent cyclist fatalities in our region. We're looking for our KTMPO partners to support this event by showing up and attending. And I don't know off the top of your head, Jason, can you speak to any of those fatalities with your involvement in Safe Streets and Roads for All?
Not off the top of my head. They're not. I don't want to say. Pedestrian and bike are not the largest numbers of fatalities that we've seen lately, at least as far as motorcycles.
Okay.
Which there's some parallels there. But we tend to see them kind of clusters, intersections, or roads where there's no sidewalks, and someone's walking on the street. Or where I'm not blaming the person for their choices here. Or where someone crosses the street in mid-block or somewhere where there's not a crosswalk signals, and then there's an accident. There's a crash. So that's kind of the trend that I've seen with the bicyclists. I don't know specifics. I haven't looked at that.
Well, thank you so much. I sort of called you off the cuff, so my apologies on that. I do want to, the headlines are actually very active with some of the cyclists that were injured recently. One is going to require life support for the duration of his life. So in an act to support safety in our region, I really want to encourage everyone to attend. And then once again, I think the Adaptive Bicycle Rodeo that's happening on May 9th is going to be a lot of fun. And it's the first one of its type in our region. So those are highlighted in your resolution, as well as Ride a Bike Day. No matter where you live, put your helmet on and ride a bike on May 3rd. And then we have Bike and Roll to School Day, May 6th. Bike to Work Week, May 11th through the 17th. And Bike to Work Day, May 15th. So there's a lot of opportunities to get out there and rolls wherever you want to go.
Okay. Any other questions, comments?
I move that we approve resolution 2026-05, recognizing May 2026 as National Bike Month.
Motion, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Treadway. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you, Anita.
Thank you.
Item number 5, discussion action item regarding approval of the draft fiscal year 25 transportation alternatives annual report. Nelson.
Thank you. So
What is being brought before you today is approval of a draft report for the Transportation Alternatives Program that we allocate Cat 9 program dollars for, and all state projects that go through the Transportation Alternatives Programming. This is an annually required report. The reason it is a draft is because we have been coordinating with TxDOT, but what happens is they typically provide us the information in a spreadsheet and say, verify this information is correct, and we have not received that information yet. So Callie has been working to get a report drafted so that when TxDOT sends their Excel spreadsheet and says, is this correct? It will match ours, hopefully. And if it does, then we can just submit it without having to come back before the board. If there are any changes, of course, that information would need to come back probably for policy board action. But this is just really to get out ahead of the report requirement, should we receive the information within the next couple of weeks, so we can get it submitted in a timely manner. With that, I'm happy to answer any questions. The report was included with the email, and we didn't have any printed copies. Yeah.
Question.
Yes.
Trying to make sure I'm reading the data right. And I'll use Morgan's Point and Temple, because those are two that I'm familiar with. So Morgan's Point did get the money. They're building a sidewalk in 2044 or 2040, whichever it is. Temple applied for 3rd Street, were not selected. How is that? Because I'm seeing there's a selected project cost. Both Temple and Morgan's Point are blank. Morgan's Point should have money, unless I'm misunderstanding this.
I'll look into that and I'll make any corrections as needed.
That was the previous TA call. That was the 2023.
Okay.
The 2025 proper scope was the only awardee.
Okay, so it's the time frame. That's the part that I'm missing.
Right. This is the 2025 call. The Morgan's Point project was awarded in the 2023 call.
Got it. Okay. Perfect. Thank you.
You bet.
Any other questions, comments? I'll entertain a motion to approve this draft with the assumption that when TxDOT is updated and it matches, we will move forward. If there are any changes from TxDOT, we will need to bring that back to the policy.
Chair, move to approve draft FY25 TA and report with those specifications.
Motion by Mayor Adams, second by Mayor, was that?
On this.
On arm wrestling. I thought I heard Mayor Blumquist. We'll bring it down. I'll give it to you next. Who was it? It was Joe. I thought it sounded like it. All right, fine. Declan, you get the second.
I get that.
Are you happy now? All right, thank you, sir. I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item number 6, discussion and action item regarding approval of the contract agreement between KTMPO and Kimley-Horn for TDM demographics and network update. Ms. Coufal.
The tasks that you see on the screen, these tasks are also listed in your packet in the contract scope. This is an updated scope contract amount, and the amount, let me get to that slide, $79,000 for these tasks. The scope that we had originally presented to the policy board last month underwent an additional review from TxDOT, and they requested that we expand our scope slightly to include additional updates. So that scope has been brought back to you for $79,000. There are 2 optional tasks that you see on the screen that we will probably forego at this time. Perhaps down the road, we might come back to them or fold those into another effort such as the CMP for like the demographic maps. But at this time, we are requesting approval of the contract as you see it in your packet for $79,000.
Is there any particular reason why we don't want to do options 5 and 6?
So Anita is very well versed in stakeholder engagement. Oftentimes her approach is stronger than what we've found in outside consultant assistant firms. So we would like to do that ourselves and save that money. And then the demographic maps, again, we have the opportunity to tie that in with another effort, and there's a cost savings there as well.
All right. Well, good job, Anita. Thank you for saving us $8,000. Any
My
other,
pleasure.
any other questions, comments? I'll entertain a motion to approve that.
Yeah, I move that we approve the contract agreements for TM demographics and network update, minus the option.
I have a motion from Mayor Adams. Do I have a second?
Second.
From Councilman Treadway, I have a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you. Item number 7, discussion item regarding the draft fiscal year 27 through 30 transportation improvement program. And this goes to Callie.
All right, so, again, this is a discussion item for the FY 27 to 30 transportation improvement program. We're going to be having 18 highway projects added to this tip. 3 of them are new. The rest are being carried over from the 25 to 28 tip. There is one change that we are discussing how best to handle. The Connell Street has received 100% federal funding. So we are going to see if we need to make an amendment in November to change that, since this has already gone out for public comment, or if we'll be able to adjust that. And then we'll bring that again to you in May with more ideas of like how we're going to be moving forward. But right now, we're just waiting to see exactly what we need to do regarding this change.
Those that doesn't want to get paid for it twice.
Right. So that's not, we're not able to do it that way. So we'll bring that to you in May with more of an idea of how we're going to move forward, either changing it for this round, or if we need to wait until November to make that change. And then we'll also be adding 28 new transit projects. And so, like I said, the public comment period is going on right now, and Anita is leading that process, if you wanted to speak to that.
Thank you so much. We had a public meeting at the Coppers Cove Public Library on April 1st, and Dell joined me, so thank you so very much for that. We had 3 other citizen type individuals come, but they were elected officials as well, so they were learning about the process as well as contributing to our comments. But we also had a citizen and a friend come, and we're going to talk a little bit more about what that citizen had to say in our public comment section. On Monday, April 20th, we'll be having a public meeting, open house meet and greet at the Activity Center in Harper Heights from 4 to 6 p.m. And one of the ways that we really gauge stakeholder support for KTMPO is the amount of shares that we receive on our social media. And it's the folks inside of this room here, plus all your colleagues back in the office, that share our posts. And once we posted the Harper Heights Activity Center meeting yesterday, I think we posted it at about 2 o'clock. We've already exceeded 7 shares, and it's had I think an engagement of over 1,000 views. So a lot of activity and looking. No comments, but that sharing really speaks volumes to the trust that y'all put in our work. So thank you for that.
And we will be bringing this for you in May for action. So right now it's just a discussion item. If anyone has any questions, I can answer those at this time.
You said there would be 28
Transit projects.
transit projects added to this.
Yes, yeah, they're in your packet as well.
They're mainly capital, basically bus fleet replacement. That's typically already in there. But for some reason, not, so.
Hey, I missed that. That's on me. I saw the road project, but I didn't see that many. Maybe
So also we have a story maps, and I can share that digital QR code with you, and you can look at that and look at every single project that we have listed.
Okay.
The transit typically will show at the federal apportionments. So for us to buy vehicles and get reimbursed, they need to be.
Right. No, I saw them. I didn't realize there were 28. I must have zipped through them real quick. They're enumerated though in this.
They're each individual tip sheet, but they are all like together on a page, you know. a
Okay,
couple
okay,
pages.
all right.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions, comments?
One comment on Temple, and I say this because James is sitting next to me, so don't know, on Killeen-Temple here in we started with police somewhere in the near future. And one of the things, it's not on the tip, I've been working with Kendra and Callie, is our Veterans Memorial Boulevard project. Now, the policy board approved $10 million for Cat 2, the last project call. There's been some stuff out of this group's control that Cat 2 money isn't programmed. I know you all work on, we have a plan for it, and just putting it on the record, just continue to work with James, whoever's appointed in my place, to make sure that I mean, it's a very important project personally to me, one, because I work the deal to get the money, just take my ego out of it, but also because it's right there in front of the VA. And if you've served in the Army, you know what good work the VA does. That project is gateway, it's necessary, it's going to be an amazing thing once it's done. So just don't lose sight of that. If there's a way for that Cat 2 to be programmed sooner, I'm going to stand up and shout. I'll come back and shake everybody's hand. But I'll pass it over to James when that process continues to move forward, I think.
Yeah, and I can speak to that for the MPO side. We're just waiting for it to be added to the UTP, the newest UTP.
Right.
And it is on the books for the next November. So it is, we have
Right.
definitely, it's highlighted. As soon as we're able to, we will be adding that into our tip.
And the timing of it, that's the question.
Right.
We've got some stuff that's in motion on our side for CCFP or reinvestment zone budgets. So they're working on that. So it's gonna, those two are gonna dance around each other, but we'll find a meeting point.
Thank you so much for bringing that up too.
Absolutely.
No discussion. There's no action to be taken on this today. Make sure we get it fleshed out. Any other questions, comments, get back with Callie between now and the next meeting. And, get those things updated. All right, item number 8, discussion item regarding amendments to the 2050 Metropolitan Transportation Plan fiscal year 2730 Transportation Improvement Program and Public Engagement Plan related to the coordination and consultation activities. Ashley.
Thank you. So historically, we have always conducted outreach to tribal nations, but I think it was during the review of our DEP, we realized it had been some time since we had reached out to them. While there isn't really a required schedule for this outreach, it is expected to be routine. So we took the opportunity over the last couple of months to reestablish those connections. We reached out to, I think, about 13 tribal nations, providing information about the MPO, what we do, and how they can participate in the planning process. We also emphasize the importance of their involvement, particularly as it relates to cultural resources, burial grounds, and artifacts when transportation projects are being considered. We also provided them with information about our meetings, both in person and virtual. So we gave them information about our TAC and policy board meetings. We also expanded this effort to include housing stakeholders, including housing authorities and nonprofit organizations, in alignment with the new IIJA guidance that encourages authorities to connect transportation and housing. Additionally, one of our staff members recently attended the Connect the Dots event at UMHB, where we continued outreach by sharing information about how housing and transportation are connected in an effort to promote fair housing. And that is all I have on those two.
You said you reached out to 13 different nations. We have that many within the EU?
We also had a meeting with Maria, and where is she from, Kendra, again?
We had a meeting with the Texas Historical Commission, and which they are the TxDOT liaison for project planning. So they'll actually be presenting in May on their processes for preserving historical artifacts and burial grounds and how that goes into play with TxDOT and project planning and the roadway planning process. We also had one of the tribal nations that Ashley reached out to, reached back out to us just this week with interest in attending one of our meetings. So I'm not sure if she's online today or if it may be a future meeting that she joins us in representative of her tribe. I can't remember which tribe. Was it the Kit
I
tribe.
think it was the Kickapoo traditional tribe of Texas.
And so we are wanting to integrate that, or we have integrated in the past, but just to bring that up, we coordinated with TxDOT to get their list of tribes that they follow that have historical significance for the region. And then we crossed that with the list from Texas Historical Commission with their tribal liaison. And so both of those lists consolidated as who we reached out to. We informed them of our planning processes. And then again, for housing stakeholders, we really repeated that process. And then one other amendment that you'll see on the screen that will be brought back in May that will incorporate all of this verbiage into our MTP, our TIP, and to our public engagement plan is regarding even just how we prepare and inform the public for, like, for instance, our federal certification review that's ongoing today and this week. That we noticed as we were preparing for this certification review, and we were referring to our schedule as to what we need to do and what does that look like. We realized that we didn't explicitly write out or direct staff on how to approach this effort. So we did add in language for other planning activities to include the federal certification review, corridor studies, review of project scoring criteria. And so we outlined what that public comment period and what meetings, what it looks like. And although not required, we recommended a 15-day review period and comment period for events such as these. So this language for the tribal outreach, the housing stakeholder outreach, as well as for other planning activities will be brought back in May, along with those TIP and MTP amendments for one grant approval for all of this, all of these updates.
Okay. Any other discussion? Yes, sir.
We dealt with this a couple of years ago when the new high school was built in Killeen. But I think maybe we should include school districts as needed. Because as they grow, I think right now they can just build and we have to recover and respond after the fact. But it might be good if they could be here as we're talking about future planning, and they can even inform us at the regional level if that's doable.
Anyone else? Okay, discussion item only. We'll move to number 9, which is also actions regarding quarterly update on transportation grants.
Thank you. So we have a couple grants listed here. The main one I'm gonna just touch on real quick is the SS4A grant, or the Safe Streets and Roads for All. They just announced funding, I believe, 2 weeks ago. And the application deadline is May 26th, so we have about a month left on that. If you are interested, I have a packet with information about that. You can always reach out and I can send that over to you. Thank you.
You want to talk about any of those?
I can read them off.
That's okay. So if you want money, talk to Ashton. That's what I heard.
The SS4A grant, of course, the whole reason we did our comprehensive safety action plan for the region was so that jurisdictions could use that plan for these opportunities. So we do encourage the local jurisdictions to apply for implementation projects that were identified in that planning document you desire, and we're here to assist however best.
Absolutely. Any other questions, discussion? All right, moving on to item number 10, then discussion item regarding public input received through the previous month and upcoming public involvement events. Anita.
Thank you. Inside your packet are a list of the public comment logs that we received in the last month, during the month of March. I wanted to highlight the one that we received from a business owner in Coppers Cove regarding the project Down Business 190. It's project ID C5004D. He was really adamant, and this is just a summary in his own words about some items. And as a public involvement practitioner, my role is to really bring these comments to y'all and not necessarily to try to sway an outcome or anything, just to facilitate conversation and close the feedback loop. And so I committed to him that I would share these with y'all in this meeting. And he's really interested in seeing the engineering and design plans for Highway Business 190, specifically where his business is on Leonard Street. He's interested in that, and he's an automotive shop that takes in a lot of rebate work. So 18-wheelers come into his business quite frequently to pick up these huge transmissions and motors, and he's concerned about how they're going to be turning into his property. Also, he would, and some of these items are outside of our jurisdiction altogether. However, I did let him know that we would share that as well. He would like the median design and maintenance issues resolved before adding any new work. And he'd like to know what the clear path plan is for ongoing median maintenance. And also the bike lane that is on Business 190. He was wondering about how that design and infrastructure came into place. And he's interested in what the future of that bike lane is. So I've submitted all that information to our partners from Copper's Cove, and they are working on getting those answers, and we'll be providing them to him. Also, the Regional Active Transportation Plan, the public comment period closed on April 13th. That was on a Monday, and we had 78 responses to that plan. Do you mind going to the next slide, Kendra? I think it might be one more. One more, please. We'll have to come back to those. One more. It was the one that I sent you. Oh, here it is right here. This right here is really interesting, y'all. This talks about citizens' interest in safe streets and roads for all around schools. And as you can see, 57 out of the 78 said that was very important. 14 said it was somewhat important. And I think that out of the balance, 5, it was neutral, and 2 didn't think it was that important. But overall, this just goes to show how y'all's participation in our meeting here is so critical. I'm going to read these. Our engagement rate, social media, we had 3,133 views on this particular post. And that drove 72% of the engagement. And it was a 2.84 click-through rate, and that resonates real strong with the call to action. So people did look at it, they saw it, y'all shared it. They didn't respond as high as I would have liked, but the fact that you're sharing our post, it matters to the public. If they didn't, I would assume that if they didn't like it, we'd get some comments on it. But that could be a broad assumption as well. Do you mind going back to the other slides? Thank you, Kendra. One more, please. So for our public comment period, January, February, and March, between comments, amendments, and plan updates, like the Regional Active Transportation Plan, we've had 123 responses, either by a survey or by a comment, a public comment. And then in addition to that, I wanted to share another, this is a praise report comment. We do a shout out Sunday, and we had happened to share the Salato's project by that Williams School Road out there. And someone wanted to know why there wasn't ballards, why we didn't have safety for the bike lane and the sidewalks. So I responded, and I let him know what KTMPO's role was. And then when Kendra and I were talking, and we have our planning meetings on Monday, and Kendra had mentioned that she shared information with the Salado Independent School District. So I went back to the post, and I let him know about the upcoming Safe Streets and Roads for All information that we shared with Salado Independent School District. And he commented right away. He said, KTMPO, you are moving the needle and building better people-centered infrastructure for our communities. It's needed and inspiring. Thank you. We really don't know who this is. He's not, he's a citizen that cares about bike safety. I don't know who he is, but I thought it was worth mentioning. And that's part of our feedback loop. Even though we had a negative comment, we were able to turn the needle and inform him and keep everybody else engaged. This right here is a graph of the previous comments, what they look like. That 75%, that's that regional active transportation plan. So 75% of our comments are related to that. Are there any questions that I can answer for you?
I just had.
Sure.
The QR codes y'all created, they have been very helpful. And I witnessed that when you came down the coast, especially using the digital map one, or I'll explain to the citizens. So thank you and your staff for putting this together. I know it took a few hours. So. Appreciate it a lot.
Tay is our digital map person, king, the digital map king. Thank you for mentioning that.
So I was also contacted by the same individual about the sidewalks in Slato. I think he saw the link because I shared the link on my commissioner page. So he got back to me too, and basically gave me the same comment. Told him not within my purview, but I would talk to Slato. And then he sent me a message back not very long after that, said, your staff at KTMPO have done an excellent job. They've given me an answer, and they were to be commended for their quick answer. He says, I ask questions all the time, or I think he makes statements a lot to the local governments and almost never gets a response, but he was very happy because he got a response. So the fact that you're interactive with folks and you're updating not only them, but the localities and letting those localities know the comments you're getting, very helpful. Thank you.
I love being a public involvement practitioner.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Thank you very much. Anything else? Move to the next item. All right. Item number 11, director's update. You're on.
All right, I don't have a whole lot, but Kendra keeps reminding me I'm supposed to cover this. Tonight we have the federal certification roundtable from 6. It'll be here in this building. I hope you RSVP. We might, or we might not have extra sandwiches if you happen to show up. The federal certification review is happening all day today and half the day tomorrow. Our federal highways, federal transit team are in the back over there. I'll allow Kirk and Tony and Yvette to introduce themselves if they'd like and say anything in regard to the certification review.
We're looking forward to the next day and a half. Every 4 years, we're required to do a certification review under federal law, Title 23. And last one was held in 2022 about this time. So we're back again every 4 years and doing our thing. As I mentioned, it's required by federal law, and we're looking to make some recommendations, maybe some areas of improvement, tweak it a little bit. But you guys are doing a great job with public involvement and all your planning works, and don't expect. I think you guys are going to pass with honors. I think the way you're working right now. So I've been with Federal Highway for 37 years. So I've done this 70 times. I mean, it's been a long 3 years. So I've got a few more years to go, and appreciate your all's time and opportunity to present. Tony's with FTA. He's a quiet, silent partner. He's camera shy too. So he's from Region 6, Fort Worth, and he handles the federal transit grants, the discretionary grants, and the enforcement grants that come in from Federal Transit Administration. Any transit questions? Go see Tony. Highway questions, me, transit. Yeah. That's here from our office, and is championing planning. She's going to be working in planning with us, and glad to have her along as a technical resource. Thank you.
Thank you, Kirk. So like I said, they'll be here all day today, part of the day tomorrow. Hopefully we'll have our certification review results within the next couple of months. Following that, with any recommendations that they may have, or any processes they possibly steal from us to provide us better practices for others. Our upcoming board meeting dates are on the screen for your review and information. Other updates, there's not a lot going on in the AMPO and TPPB world right now. We're just in a holding pattern, waiting for the marker bills to be reviewed. I know one marker bill has been submitted, but there's been no accompanying bill, and they're looking for co-sponsors for some of the basics act bill provisions. So we're just keeping an eye on that for the AMPO TPPB updates and the reauthorization at this time. The air quality readings were 63 parts per billion. And with that, did I miss anything? With that, I'm open to any questions.
There's one online. Ask a question. Okay, no further questions. We'll move on to item number 12. It's member comments. So we can talk about whatever you like now. Anybody have any comments? Yes, sir.
First, I want to thank publicly Raymond and Hop for doing their presentation to the Military Community Council. A couple of people are probably going to be reaching out to you that stated that, and they asked for a copy of the presentation.
Okay.
But I asked Raymond if he would present what they were doing with the Hood Connector and its relationship to cities. The Military Community Council is a 60-member group across the National League of Cities. And so since our transit authority won an award that got recognized at the Pentagon, so it would be best that they presented it and kind of highlighted what we're doing here. The other thing is there's a template letter for the Basics Act that I just signed and we sent to our delegation. Well, if anybody want a copy of it where you want to adjust and send it, that would help hopefully to push our representatives to push that reauthorization bill for some faster or more movement. So it's not just for us, it's for all of us. Many of us that respond, it might make them do something. So let me know if you want a copy of it. I think I forwarded it to you. You got a copy of it? If not, okay. But I have a format, I think just like, but it's basically a form letter. You address it to any of the Texas delegations, and stating your support for the things in the Basics Act, which basically is asking for more money for cities and KTMPO and the MPOs without taking money from the states.
Directly to the cities.
Yes. That's all I have to.
Anyone else? Having none, then we will adjourn. Thank you for your time and attention today.